Okay, so now for Mr. Nazario, why don't you tell us about some of your background before we get to the questions?
All right. I'm a Reading native. I went to Southwest Middle School, the best middle school in Reading. And then after that, I went to Reading High School, graduated 2002, went off to Westchester University where I studied English and a minor in journalism. And I recently got my master's from Kutztown University, and now I'm here at the high school working in the Upward Bound program.
So what's it like working at the school you went to?
I mean, it's great to get to come back and be in the same hallways that I used to walk around in and laugh and act up a little bit in. So it's a good feeling to come back and work with the students that are from this city and that will one day hopefully go on to make the city a better place.
So what's the best part of your job?
I think the best part of my job is the relationship I get to build with the students like yourself, getting to see them go from 9th grade all the way up to 12th grade and then help them with the college process and just getting to know the students and also just being in this environment because I love Reading High School. So, yeah.
So here you do the Upward Bound program. What is that?
Upward Bound is a program run through Reading Area Community College, and basically what we do is we help students go on to college. So we're funded by a grant through RAC, and we help students from 8th grade going into 9th grade all the way up to their 12th grade year, and we actually stay with them 2 years into college. So what I do basically is help them figure out what they want to major in college, what college they want to go to, help them fill out their FAFSAs, help them apply to colleges, take them on college visits, basically anything that'll help them get to a point where they can go on to college.
Do most go to college?
Yes, most of our students go to, most if not all of our students go to some type of post-secondary education, whether it be one of the top schools like Bucknell. We had a student go there last year, or we have some students start off at RAC and then they do their 2 years there and then go to a bigger university.
So what do you do outside of school? Do you have any hobbies?
Yeah, I like to write. I like to spend time with my family. Also like to play basketball. But I say right now the main thing I do outside of school is write. I work for 2 magazines, and I also try to do stuff in the community when I can.
What are your magazines?
Well, they're not my magazines, but I work for Mute Magazine. Check it out, www.mutemag.com. And Mute Magazine was founded by someone else who went to Reading High School. His name is Theron Cook. Him and a friend of his named Perry Thompson founded the magazine a couple years ago. Right now the office is at the Goggle Works. And Mute is basically a music magazine that also focuses on fashion, technology, media, and the arts. So I work as the senior editor of Mute Magazine. I edit articles, and I also write stories.
And your other magazine?
And that's not my magazine either, but it's Creative Touch Advertising, the magazine. And that was started by Jose Rosa. He has a graphic design company. And he also went to Southwest. I believe he went to Reading High too. I can't remember right now. But he has a graphic design company. And what his idea is to expand that into a magazine. So it's called Creative Touch Advertising, the magazine. And what we do with the magazine is we allow people from Berks County to advertise in the magazine for different rates, and then people who choose to get a big ad in the magazine, they can choose to have that ad in there, and then I would write a story about the company or about the person that wants to be featured in the magazine. So the website for that is Creative Touch CreativeTouchAdv.com.
So how did you start writing?
I started writing when I was young. I just always liked it and always had a passion for it. I wrote when I went to Reading High School. I wrote for the Red and Black. I wrote for the school newspaper. And then when I went on to college, I also wrote for the Westchester University newspaper. And then from there, just graduating college and trying to get a job in that field, I reached out to Theron Cook and Perry Thompson, who founded Mute. So I've been working with them since about 2008 and just trying to do whatever I can to get my writing career going and keep it going.
So what advice can you give us for the students who want to go into a journalism career?
I would say write every day so you can work on your craft and you can become the best at your craft. That's something I have to work on practicing myself because I don't write every day. Well, lately I have, but as far as working on my craft, it's something that I have to do every day so I can be the best writer I can be. So I would suggest any students that want to get into writing that they would start early. Start writing poetry or keeping a diary or a journal. Get involved in your school newspaper. Maybe write for Voices. Start saving those clips up. Find a college where you can major in journalism. I know Penn State Berks has a writing program. Kutztown has a writing program. And just work at it every day. Try to make as many connections as you can. Try to join writing groups. Get emails from Writer's Digest. Any tips you can get. And just put yourself out there as a writer if that's something you're serious about.
Have you ever written any plays?
No, I've never written any plays, but I would love to write a play one day.
Any poems?
I wrote some poems when I was little. I want to get back into that, but I haven't written a poem in a while. I used to write poems in elementary school, though.
Have you ever thought about, like, maybe writing a book or a story?
Definitely. I'm actually working on a book now, kind of. Just doing some research and trying to fit it in where I can with my cousin and my brother. But that's definitely something I want to do. Write many books, write a book that gets turned into a movie, all that good stuff.
When you first started writing, was it hard to, like, gather your thoughts, or, like, did it just come?
I mean, it kind of just came. Sometimes it is hard to formulate ideas, but it's something you just have to work at it. And writing every day, well, it'll kind of sharpen your tool a little bit. Like you know what I'm trying to say, right?
Yeah.
If you write every day, you'll be a master at your craft. So it will come easy for you to get your ideas out. So it's just a matter of practicing, and the more you practice, the easier it'll be. I guess I'm trying to say.
Okay. So most say reading and writing are, like, hand in hand. Like, since you like to write, do you like to read?
Yeah, I like to read. I don't get to read as much as I like to, but I do like to read. And I think you brought up a great point that reading and writing does go hand in hand. In order to have the vocabulary to write words and not use the same words all the time and not always have to go to the thesaurus, it's a good idea to make sure you read a lot and become real knowledgeable with the English language.
Oh. Okay, so reading. Like, do you have a favorite book or, like, a favorite author, someone who you, like, admire, or?
An author I admire probably would be Maya Angelou as far as poetry goes. She's real nice at what she does. And she has a way of using the English language that's distinct and that she really gets her emotions across what she's trying to say. When I was younger, me and my best friend used to read an author called Walter Dean Myers. And he had all these books that we used to always read all the time. That was one of my favorite books was Fast Sam, Cool Clyde and Stuff. Me and Joey used to read that.
That's cool.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite book?
Do I have a favorite book? I do. My favorite book is the Henrietta Lacks book.
Never heard of it.
The Henrietta Lacks book.
What's it about?
It's about Henrietta Lacks. She's a African-American woman, and she was, like, from, like, the South, and she was a strong woman, like a slave owner. Like, she got cervical cancer, and they took her cells to examine. Like, back in the day when, like, it was segregated, and they didn't have to ask you for your cells if you came to a public hospital. They'd take them and examine them, do whatever they wanted with them. And they denied her help, but they took samples from her cells, from her cervix, and examined them. And they were trying to figure out a way to make the cells grow. And without a human life, like, they were, like, looking for stuff to advance medicine.
Is this a true story?
Yeah, it's a true story. It is, like, she's the start of, like, all science. Like, really. Like, her cells are still growing. Yeah, like, they're still growing to this day. Like, they're, like, everywhere. And then she died, and, like, her family didn't know about it, and, like, they took her cells without asking. And her family can't, like, afford medical insurance, but, like, their mom is, like, so rich, and she helped for the polio vaccine, the tetanus shots, measles, like everything. Like she helped with everything.
And it's an African American woman?
She's an African American woman. Wow. Yep.
How'd you learn about her?
I learned about her because like I like to read. I don't like to write. I like to read. I read anything. And then I went to the library, and I was reading a book. I'm like, I don't really like it. So then she's like, oh, you should read this book, you know, because that book is a little beneath you. So I'm like, I don't want to learn about cells. Like this is science. Like, I don't like science. And then I read it, and it was really good. Like, I felt like a nerd, but it was really good.
That's cool. Nerds are cool. They usually have the big paying jobs when they grow up, the nerds.
Really? Do you have okay, since you like to write, do you read stuff from New York Times or like out of the United States? Do you?
I guess not out of the United States. I did get a new laptop that has the New York Times on it. So before that, I didn't read New York Times, but being that it's basically on there every day for me to have easy access to, I glance at it once in a while and try to stay up to date on what's going on in the world.
Yes. By staying up to date, do you keep tabs on like news, like upcoming events and like what's going on in the world, you know?
I can't say really in the world. I try to keep up to date on what's going on in Reading though, because I think it's real important for all of us to know what's going on in the city and which way and ways, figure out ways that we can help bring positivity to the city. And there's a lot of other people besides myself that do that. So I try to stay up to date on that stuff. And I try to stay up to date on the stuff that goes on in the world, but I can't say I'm a big, I have my own views about a lot of things. Anybody that knows me knows that. But yes. I'm not really a political person, but I do follow somewhat.
So like when you read like Reading Eagle, do you think like as if you can write stuff better or like better said for people to understand?
I don't know about if I can write better. I think I'd pick my stories better than how the Reading Eagle picks them sometimes, especially when they have to do at Reading High School and things that go on in the community sometimes. And no offense to anybody that works for Reading Eagle, but sometimes they like to put the negative things on the front cover because at the end of the day it's a business and they want to sell newspapers, but they don't always highlight those positive things that are going on in Reading High School and that are going on in the Reading community on the front page as they should, in my opinion.
I think the same way.
Nice.
I do. So like as a community, what can we do to like help?
I think we can keep having conversations like this, keep getting young people involved with nightlife, with any type of extracurricular activities, with Project Peace, with all the there's so many positive things going on in Reading. Reading Hip Hop Summit, Mute Magazine, Creative Touch Advertising Magazine. Brad Waples does a lot in the community with the Hip Hop Summit. Did I say that already? Maybe. No Fear Music Group, they try to do positive things in the city as well. There's a lot of positive people in the city, and I think we all just have to stay engaged and keep helping and being servants, as Dr. Will put it on Facebook the other day.
Oh, that's cool. Thank you so much. Now for our next segment with Sam Palmero.